So in front of me I have the Sunbeam F1 Pro Juniper. Before this I had the Sunbeam F1 Pro Aspen. I got that one in October of 2023, and I recently replaced it with the Juniper in January. So I have a lot of experience using the Sunbeam phones, and this phone's pretty much exactly the same as the other one, with the exception that it has email, which I thought at the time I cared more about, but I really don't even use it that much. I'm just so used to not having any of that now. But it also, one thing that drew me into it, because I'm very specific, is that around the keys there's like a new, more silver plastic, whereas my Aspen had like a black, and it kind of looked cheaper. I don't know, this looks a lot more premium, but I'm on the floor, so I'm just being honest here. So I'm gonna come back here so you can see better. But yeah, so offhand, I'll just kind of let you know my experience of using the Sunbeam phones for as long as I have, and then I'll kind of show you the phone. But first of all, I have to say this is a life-changing experience. If you can commit to really using something like this, and also limiting, how you use other technology, then you can create a whole new world for yourself where I mean, basically what's happening is they're hijacking our reward system and our brain to make money off of us. And so they do that through social media and the smartphone technology. I don't know who they is, but it's just kind of the truth, because they want you to buy things. That's why they're always showing you more, want you to see more, want you to buy more. And this kind of helps you escape all of that. So your brain really does reset in a lot of ways. It's actually quite amazing. I don't think I could ever go back. And if I did go back to a smartphone, it would be like one of those ones where it's still very limited and different, like the light phone, or I'm thinking of what's the minimal phone, the one with the keyboard that just came out. I do like that one. Anyways, so it's nice that this has a hotspot, because the thing is that when you are on the go, like I don't have a car anymore, so I take trains, I take buses, I do all that kind of stuff. I actually used to, when I did have a car, I drove as a delivery driver, and I used this for Waze, and it wasn't the best, but it worked fine to get around the area I was delivering in. So that is successful. But basically my point is the hotspot is useful because you might want to keep something like a tablet or a computer in your backpack or with you, so that if you need to, you can turn on this hotspot, and then you can access things like bus routes, or social media or email or something like that if you need to, or Uber or Lyft. So maybe some people think that defeats the purpose. I don't think so, because I still don't really use the other technology excessively. I really feel like the phone, the fact that it's in your hand and it's so accessible, and if this were a smart device in my hand constantly, it really is a lot different than something like this. I feel like that is a more traditional, but when we use things like that, we weren't as mentally ill. And so basically when I use things like the computer or the iPad, I still limit myself, and I still set rules for myself. Like I don't scroll on YouTube shorts for long. I try not to participate in that. I still don't use social media besides things like YouTube. I try and stick it to the basics, and use my computer as a tool for things like music, or videos or whatever. Anyways, so other things. So basically, I think that the call quality on this phone could be better. Sometimes I don't know if it's my phone or if it's other people or what, but it can be just very quiet. Like sometimes I'll put it on speaker and I feel like it's like not on speaker or whatever, or there'll just be weird echo problems and I'll have to hang up and call again. I don't know if that's because of this phone or whatever, but I just have always kind of remembered I went from an iPhone to these phones, and I just remember the experience was obviously a lot better. So since that's kind of a core feature of having a phone is the call, I just have to say it's doable, but it's not the best experience to like have like super long conversations for hours on it, in my opinion. I feel like it could be louder. I feel like it could be better quality. I don't really know the factors that have to do with that, honestly. Like maybe I could just have like better service. That could honestly have a lot to do with it. But anyways, just over time, I guess that's like how I feel about it. Second of all, I think a big thing is sometimes there are um, just I mean there's not really glitches. Like I won't say that, because like the phone, like a lot of these phones, these cheaper, they're supposed to be cheaper phones, have like really bad operating systems and things are really slow and it's like useless. I have to say the Sunbeam is optimized in a way for the experience to be pretty snappy and stuff like that. So glitches are actually pretty not as bad, especially because since I've gotten it, they continue to update it so much. But things using, things like the maps, for instance, like when I do use Waze, it can be, frustrating because it doesn't. I would say it doesn't register the location as accurately as it does when I use things like the iPhone. And also, you're dealing with such a small screen. So, this is why when I was doing deliveries and stuff like that, it was actually kind of complicated for me. Sometimes there are glitches with texting and stuff like that, but it's really not that bad. But specifically, I do, and I'll show you. Let me get a new message open. I just don't want you to see my conversations. Test 1 2 3, test 1 2 3. So this worked good, but sometimes there are problems where I notice for some reason it adds the word play at the end of every sentence. It will just say play, and it was like that on my old phone too. So I don't know if it's like the sound of the buttons on the phone, like the clicking of it, like thinks it's the word play, but I always have to erase the word play sometimes after sentence. So this is just like the weird shit I'm sharing with you after using this for like a long time. I have to say, the music and the audio experience could be better. Basically, how I do shit on here with music is that I use primarily the file browser. I don't use the music app, because the music app, while it is good, like it does like collect things and stuff like that, I do things like I have my weird ass ASMR shit on it and whatnot, and so it can just be harder to navigate based on how, because this, it kind of organizes it itself. So if you don't have the metadata of the files correctly in there, then it's not as helpful. What I do is I have like the files like this, like I have them organized myself. I have like my relaxing physical therapist ASMR. I have like my original music, my Bob's Burgers audio videos, because I'm, clearly have some sort of anyways, I'll just stop there. But this is all of my strange content. So I like to organize it just in the files, and then when I click it, sometimes there's problems when you have podcast files that you put on there, because like to skip and forward and rewind and stuff to certain points can be complicated. Sometimes it doesn't work at all, but I've noticed it's gotten better. Um, Texting is good. I'm not going to show you, I don't want you to see mine, but texting is good. I haven't really had in terms of like the operating of it and like the threads and stuff like that. I would say it's pretty good. Uh, I don't use the calendar really, but I did at one point have a whole system for the calendar, and it was pretty good. I can't remember though if it's synced. Like I feel like with calendars, it's like you're like, oh, remind me to do this, and it like doesn't do it, and it's just like on the calendar you have to open it. I can't remember if like it alerted me well, but I'm also just like, it just never works for me on any like device I have. Like anytime I use like a calendar or to-do list, I think I have like ADHD, so maybe it's just, I'm not fucking paying attention. But anyways, the email thing is pretty good. Let me see if I can show you. So I can't show you because of my information, but the email part of it, I would say, is actually not that bad. I feel like they fixed something so that now when you read the emails, you can have it fit to the frame of the phone, because I was having issues where like I couldn't read stuff because the email was too wide or whatever, and I couldn't zoom out. But they fixed that, so the formatting's good. You can do different layout views with the emails. You can have multiple inboxes. I was able to set them up really easy. Basically, what I did is that I just set up like a new email, like just to subscribe to a bunch of like newsletters and stuff, like random shit to read, so that I could have an inbox on my phone with like shit to scroll through and look at and read. That's like more intellectually stimulating, as opposed to, you know, using like an app or a game or something like that. So that's how I've utilized email. Like obviously it's useful to check other things, but I sort of created like an inbox of reading material for myself that I feel like has been actually pretty nice. I really like these LED indicator lights. They've always been my favorite. I like that the charging light, it like blinks when it's charging, and then it'll just be solid red when it's done charging. That's been helpful for me to understand. Like I like these indicators because I don't like necessarily committing to opening my phone to look at shit, but I like having an understanding of like what's going on based on this. Yeah, so let's see here. Camera is good for what it is. I don't really have any thoughts on it. I feel like I appreciate, so here's the thing about this phone. I do kind of want a little bit more. Like I really love how this phone is its own thing. It has its own thing going on that's separate from everything. You can't do internet, you can't do videos, but I do feel like I could appreciate the possibility to maybe have access to Spotify or YouTube. I don't want to get on Facebook. I don't want to use WhatsApp. I don't want to do anything like that. I don't want to get on Messenger. I don't want to watch TikTok. I don't want to do Instagram. I don't want to get on the browser per se. But now that we have email, I feel like there is my apologies, I'm smoking weed, so I'm just a little but I feel like there is definitely merit in having things like video and audio streaming on this, because then I can avoid having to download things like with it as like an MP3 player, like having to convert like podcasts to MP3 files and then like convert via a USB-C cable, or allow some sort of Wi-Fi transfer of files or something like that to make it easier, maybe over Bluetooth. I don't know if you can already do that shit, but I just wouldn't see the problem in being like, hey, here's a simple Spotify app, or here's YouTube, so you can just like have shit to watch or play in the background or something like that. I don't know, because overall, I still want to be able to, you know, listen to podcasts and listen to music at the gym without having to go through the hassle of always having to download it and transfer it. So I would say that is one thing I wouldn't mind, and I wouldn't mind the ability to send and receive videos, because I don't necessarily find that to be a distraction for somebody to send me a video of something. So I would say those are the two things that I'm like looking for. On my Aspen model, I would say that the this key kind of started to get weird with me. I'd have to press it really hard, but on this Juniper one it's good. But yeah, that happened to me about a year in with the other one. And then also the battery life is really up and down for me with this phone. I feel like be careful with the email client. If you have it set to be refreshing all the time, I really feel like it kills your battery very fast. So I would just watch the email client, and yeah, I feel like the battery has died really fast for me at certain times. Like I use it a lot less now, so it's lasting longer, but the battery I feel like should be longer. Like I want it to be longer. I've bought new batteries and it didn't really fix the issue. So battery issues are definitely, like, I wouldn't call it an issue, but I just think it could be better. Another thing is there's like you can get the dock with it when you get it. Like I think it actually comes with it, the dock that you charge it in. I don't use it because I use the case, so I don't want to. I mean, I don't think you can't dock it with the case on. So also, what the fuck is this button? I'm always wondering, like, I don't know what that does. Whatever. Anyways, so other than that, yeah, like I just wouldn't mind a couple extra things, like, because I like the minimal, but there's some quality of life things I think I wouldn't mind being added in, especially for how expensive the phone is. But I would say this is definitely worth it. These phones are super durable. I've dropped these so many times. They sell the screen protectors in the case, which helps even so much more. You can attach a wrist strap if you need to. I would say I'll probably keep using this phone until I get something that I'll probably eventually want to get something that has YouTube on it, honestly. But um, for now, with my current situation, this is going to continue to work for me. And if anyone has any questions, just let me know. Alright, peace out.